I care nothing about boxing. Boxing is a stepping stone just to introduce me to the audience. Like if I was still in Louisville, Kentucky, and never was a boxer, I might get killed next week in some type of little freedom struggle, and you never read the news. But now, if I'm even say the wrong thing, it makes news. So like, boxing is just to introduce me to the struggle. Like when I speak, I draw people in the States to draw my people, to teach them various things which will give them dignity, pride, and self-help, and go for self, and help the ghetto, and help the dope, prostitution problem, the juveniles, and I use my image to help or do all I can to stop a lot of trouble among our own people fighting and killing each other. So boxing is just going to be another year, but my main fight is for freedom and equality, and this is what I plan to do in boxing. It's good for livelihood, but mainly money don't really mean nothing, because I proved that when I gave up the title, not knowing if I'm coming back or not for 4 years, and they let me back on my terms. I didn't deny nothing, I believe. I'm still the same everything. So if even today, if my title hadn't been given back to me, if I got such in poverty where I had to go find a job, I would have did that. But I made a good living speaking in colleges, because the war got unpopular, and so many black militants were trying to do all they could, and I was naturally right in the middle of all of it and represented it, and that kept me alive. But if I couldn't fight, I would still not be fighting. So number one comes freedom first for my people, equality, and this is what I plan to do after I'm through fighting, working with nothing but the people, the little people in the alleys, the wine heads, the downtrodden people, going out among them and helping them with my image. It's silly when you think about fighting. I look at other fighters fighting, I say, I must be a fool. Here are two men like two roosters. You know them cockfights. They take two roosters and they put them out and they put knives on them, and the roosters are fighting each other, and they're not even mad, don't know each other, and just to please somebody. And here are two men in the ring fighting each other, and they hitting each other, and they bleeding and they fighting. What they mad about? They're not mad about nothing, and just a bunch of agitating, bloodthirsty people saying you can whoop him, he can whoop him, my man can whoop your man. All right, y'all get in there and fight. Humans should have more sense than that. And you sitting out there dressed up, drinking your beer, and and they just fighting, and they just getting. And this is serious. The nose is bleeding, the eyes cut, the teeth is out, and the brain, they might have a concussion just to please you. Human beings. It's real savage. And I said, I'm not going to be that kind of fight. I'm going to dance and be pretty. I'm just going to win on points. And if I hurt my man, I'm going to let him go. I'm not going to kill him just because somebody's watching. I did it to Floyd Patterson. I did it to George Chuvalo. I did it to Carl Miltonberger. I did it to Henry Cooper. When he started bleeding, I just pulled off of him deliberately, blood just pumping and gushing. And he's got a family. He's got children. And I just can't. James Ellis, I can't see myself with a man on the ropes and just to prove how bad I am, and I see I got him, his eyes in his head, he's helpless, and I'm just deliberately hitting him. I don't do that. My thinking is so superior, and my knowledge is so positive, and my logic is so wise until it clashes with their mentality, which is down here and I'm up there. So by me being so high, I can see more and see farther than you. And you're looking up at me saying, Ali, don't do it. Don't do it. Ali, please stop me when it hurts. And you're on a job making 60, 70 pounds a week, or whoever this guy is. Never been out of the country, not known in his own neighborhood. Ali, don't do it. But I'm at such a high level until I don't think like you. I'm not like you. No, I say you, I mean the other person.
But you know why they say that. I mean, it's for the best possible reasons, though.
They have fear and they are wary. It looks dangerous to them.
That's
but
right.
It's not really that dangerous to me. You know, I'm sure Henry will tell you, any fighter that knows what's happening, you really can't plan a fight when you're meeting a man you've never met before, right? You just have to get your tools ready. Here's a car stops on the highway. They call the AAA or whatever and say, my car's broke down. What it is, the lady, she don't know it's broke. Well, the man comes with all the tools, and he come equipped to handle whatever the problem is. An astronaut goes into space, and he pretends that something happens to the ship before he take off. He gets out and he works on it. He's not looking for something to happen, but it might happen. So I just had everything ready. Now,
after the first round, being here with a top professional, a man so great, had so many knockouts, never been defeated, never been even scratched, I didn't know really how good he was. So I had to come in, actually a little nervous, and with everything ready. After one round of dancing, I found out that this would tire me out. So I would have to resort to ropes. I figured that out after the first round. So I said, I'm going to go to these ropes, and I'm going to let this man throw everything he can, let him tire himself out. He might look like he's winning, and if he don't hurt me, I'm going to stay here. But if he should be as great as they say he is, if he hits as hard as they say he hit, when he hits you and breaks your arm, he knocked out Joe Frazier, I couldn't do it, knocked out Ken Norton. He was a big, bad giant before the fight, you remember. Now, you remember that, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
How bad he was? They don't say that now, but you remember he was a real bad cat the other day, right? Don't forget that. Now, after I found out he didn't have it, I stayed there. But if he had had what I thought he had or what they said he had, I'd have kept running, hoping I wouldn't get tired.
Everybody stop talking now. Attention. I told you, all of my critics, I told you all that I was the greatest of all time when I beat Sonny Liston. I told you today I'm still the greatest of all time. Never again defeat me. Never again say that I'm going to be defeated. Never again make me the underdog until I'm about 50 years old. Right. Then you might get me. But I didn't dance. I didn't dance for a reason. I wanted to make him lose all his power. I kept telling him he had no punch. He couldn't hit. He's swinging like a sissy. He's missing. Let me see your box. I hadn't started dancing yet. You can't say my legs are gone. You can't say I was tired, because what happened? I didn't dance from the second round on. I stayed on the ropes. When I stay on the ropes, you think I'm doing bad. But I want all boxers to put this in the page of boxing. Staying on the ropes is a beautiful thing with a heavyweight when you make him shoot his best shots and you know he's not hitting you. I would have gave George Foreman 2 rounds of steady punching, because after that he was mine.
No problem. This will be the biggest upset since Sonny Liston. And I think it is befitting that I go out of boxing just like I came in, defeating a big, bad monster that nobody could destroy. A hard punch. I'm the underdog. If he hits me, I'm in trouble, like the Sonny Liston fight. But I came back and I shook the world and I got Liston. Now it's 10 years since Sonny Liston. I'm meeting another big, bad, strong monster knockout artist that beats everybody. Sonny Liston knocked out Patterson twice, and I was supposed to fall, but he didn't knock me out. Because he could hit hard, but he couldn't find nothing to hit. George Foreman knocked out Ken Norton, knocked out Joe Frazier. True, I didn't knock him out, but I'm so fast, I'm so hard hit, I'm so scientific. I'm a total different man from Frazier and Norton. Listen, David, when I meet this man, if you think the world was surprised when Nixon resigned, wait till I whip Foreman's behind. I'm telling you, David, I'm down to 215 pounds. Right now, I said here weighing 215. I'm fight weight already. I usually train 6 weeks for fight. I've trained 4 months for fight. I'm chopping trees. I've done something special. I've wrestled with an alligator. I've tussled with a...
I believe you totally. I believe you completely.
I have tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. Now, you know I'm bad. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. There's a world champion boxer, a basketball player, a track star, a horse, even animals. I find out that this Mark Spitz, for an example, he's a world champion. But what made him the world champion was that he seemed to, at the right time when the pressure's down, at the last few yards, he can get that lead, or he's got enough left to make it. I fought Ken Norton, my last fight. The fight was even up until the last round, but I had something that he didn't have, although I'm much older, and that was the last-minute kick.
What's that last-minute kick? Is that something?
Just the stamina, the strength, the
mental, more than training,
the mental capacity, to realize what's involved and how important it is to make your body do something that's really too tired to do. Your mind makes you do it. Mark Spitz, this Olympic track star was mentioning, he wasn't that much greater than all the people in the world, but sometime he won by just that much. And a champion is just one who can come out at the last minute and close the show. As they say, the star closes the show. A 14, 15 round fight, and it's even, and usually this champion, you can depend on him to come through at the last few seconds and find some energy from
mental
somewhere.
discipline? Is it discipline? Or
Not only that, it's mental and physical. His body's in physical shape to do it, plus mentally too. He's got himself in condition where both fellas may be, sometimes the will can outdo the skill. And sometimes a fella's will is stronger than the man who's actually better physically, and the determination and weakens the other man just to see him so determined.